tired.
Oh,
that means it's Monday, and if I'm tired, it's on a Monday. It might be 8 p.m., which means it's time for another episode of Effin Rager. Hey, everybody, this is your host, Connor Clifton, joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, Ned Gale. Ned, how the heck are you?
There he is. I saw that energy pop at the end. Dude, I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing good. Now that we're in front of mics, I'm feeling good. Otherwise, I was also very tired today.
Yeah, we had a rough morning.
I had a freaking weekend.
Oh, you did? Tell me about that freaking weekend.
I'll tell you about that freaking weekend. So Friday night, if you're listening to KPFT, you probably just heard a whole hour of this. If you're listening to the Effin Rager Facebook page, we saw freaking Endgame.
We did see Endgame. We finally got to see. We're not going to drop any spoilers here. Don't worry about that.
I'll be dropping some Ned spoilers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, several times. If you see it with Cody and Connor at about 1 hour, just look to your left. It's so enjoyable.
We saw it with Cody Yeager, friend of the show, and we had a really, really fun time.
It's good. As someone who's not as into that series, I see like every fourth movie, I think.
Yeah.
Watching you guys enjoy it was probably the most enjoyable part for me, to be honest.
We were going to go see Captain Marvel at one point, and you bailed last second.
Turbo bailed.
To go protest with a bunch of MRAs or something.
Yeah, we were protesting the MRA. the Nationalist rifle.
Okay, well, so we saw Endgame. And then you and I hung out downtown for a bit.
Yeah.
We got to go to Umbrella Fellas. Again, we cannot be bought, but I will plug the hell out of this.
Umbrella Fellas is the best. Cheeto makes a freaking hot dog, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, he does. And then Saturday, what did you do on Saturday?
Saturday, we hung out during the day. I did some ceramic stuff outside. I've been making some masks. Make sure you check out my Instagram, see some of that cool process happening.
Okay.
And then, what did we do? I'm sure it was fun.
I went out. I went to an antique market, a flea market, and then went to Carbach Brewery, and then I went home.
Dang, sounds nice.
Yeah, I don't think I did anything Saturday night.
Any haul? Anything cool?
Oh, I didn't buy anything, but I definitely looked at some cool stuff, and there might be a Pillsbury Doughboy planter in our house this week. I talked to somebody on Instagram that I met while antiquing, and I was like, look, payday's on Wednesday. If you can wait a little bit, then I will buy this
Let's just say I'll have a little bit more dough, my boy. Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, I definitely did something Saturday night, and I'm sure I'd remember it.
You had a show or something.
Oh, yeah, I did improv. Oh, I did. Our guest is pissed. I did a show with Futile Society at Station Theater.
Okay.
And then after that, I performed with Cole Trippett, friend of the show. His new podcast is a live true crime podcast called Passed Away.
Oh,
and that was really fun. Yeah, it was a cool doubleheader. Both shows just fantastic.
Yeah, and then you came home, and our neighborhood, Jaffa Creek, had a nice little concert going in the backyard of our friend Maria, friend of the show.
Yeah,
and that was really fun.
It was sweet. I pulled in right after my show just to catch the very tail end of Akshamel, which should only. A fantastic band. They should only be seen in the woods. Like that is where they belong. Their costumes warrant it. Like they were phenomenal.
That's
I really
true.
Enjoyed it.
I was worried that Akshamel would kill my buzz because I just wanted to hang out in the house. But no, it was very, very fitting for our neighborhood.
They very much know when to be like loud and when to be quiet.
Yeah, there were some bands that did not know because I tried to go to bed and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, what'd you do?
I woke up at the crack of dawn to play for my boy JC. Do a little bass playing at the West Baptist University. Nope, West Baptist.
Westboro Baptist Church?
Yeah,
is that what you were saying?
Yeah. No, West University Baptist Church.
Okay.
And that was fun.
The cool ones.
Yeah. The very progressive one. And it was cool. I haven't played in a church band in like 5 years.
Yeah.
Or maybe 10 years actually. But it was good. It was nice. And then I played a gig later that night, not for JC, for SD swimwear department. That was great. Played with Sego from LA.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you were telling me how much fun you had at that show.
Yeah, they were
You came home really late, and I got home really late because I watched Game of Thrones and got drunk and had a really great time. Kind of a slow morning, though.
It was rough. Yeah.
Did you do anything fun on Monday morning to help you get through the hangover?
Chug some coffee.
Chug some coffee. I did
Yeah,
that
watch
too.
some anime as I do at work.
I spent a lot of time looking into just different books that I wanted to read, and I thought about going to the library.
Oh, man. Dude, Sunday morning I heard about The Good Book. You should look into that one.
I got plenty of copies.
One of the
that.
top rated.
I'm okay on that. But I wanted to check out all these books, but I found out that I had some items that were long overdue. And speaking of long overdue, our guest is a long overdue get for this show. You may see him performing with Ned in Futile Society. Please give it up for the amazing improviser and comedian, Cris Skelton. Hey. Oh, no, you are not picking up at all.
Hear him. Where is he? Where is he?
Radio.
Put him in my cans.
Radio linguistics.
There he is.
There you go. There we go.
The arsonist.
Beautiful voice.
Ooh, I can hear myself now.
Awesome.
Butter.
Anyway, hey, Chris, how's it going?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
Awesome. All right. So let's get to the meat of the show here. We always talk about partying.
So I've heard.
And we wanted to ask you about your life cycle of partying. How you went from your first party to how you party now. Do you remember your very first party?
Oh, no, I don't remember my very first party.
Sounds like a good one.
I come from a long and storied line of partiers. My family knows how to get down responsibly.
Okay.
You know, they're kind of homebodies. They don't like going to bars, but they will rent the margarita machine if the moment strikes them.
Very DIY ethic. I like that.
I mean, why
They just impulsively decide, like, let's get a margarita machine this afternoon.
It's Wednesday.
But I ever since I was young, I remember loving partying.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I got a bunch of weird adventures from like when I was young. I was going
to say, even to say like your first party when you're young, that doesn't necessarily have to be like a drinking party. Like this could be a birthday party.
That's true.
You know,
Tag,
what's your
bowling,
earliest experience?
roller rink.
The one that I remember, I guess, the most is I remember when I was in the second grade, I had a birthday party and everybody from my class came and we did like field day stuff.
Okay, a lot of bragging, but
that was. I mean, I wasn't popular by any stretch of the imagination. So
everybody came and you did field day stuff. Was your birthday just on field day?
They all came to my party outside of the school, directly outside.
Trust me. Everybody comes to my parties in elementary school too. It was Valentine's Day. I got a lot of candy and cards, and so did everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like
socialist at birth. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, and I've never complained.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I really flowered as somebody who went out and did cool and interesting things later in life, a late bloomer, if you will.
Okay, so you dropped a field day, or did you drop everybody from class showing up? You're like, hey guys, we've kind of grown apart over the years.
Yeah, guys, this kind of is lame. I think I'd like to do stupid things. Like
I hope you
still
didn't
doing
stop
your
the
little
field
improv
day.
shows.
We should have a field day party soon. We keep talking about throwing the Effin Olympics. I think we just need to make that happen.
That's a good idea.
First off, they're called the Effin Olympics.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I mean, those adult kid style parties are getting really popular these days. Like I was
what? It's as if we're regressing as a society.
Yeah. It's like us millennials just want to run around in ball pits, but also add drinking to the equation and lights.
Nothing
and
can go wrong.
I'm sorry, Connor. That Striper music video is still playing behind you. I know the music's not playing, but good lord, I can't not look at it. No, don't close it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Anyway, we were talking about like fun kid things.
Yeah, that's it. The one that I remember, probably my most epic, I guess, childhood. I was 15. I guess it's adolescence was when I ended up throwing a friend off the roof of an elementary school.
Hell yeah.
Now, okay, so you're using the term friend. I want to know.
Yeah, you did not say friend
at
earlier.
the time? Would you say that right before? Would you say that right after?
We were
definitely not after.
We were good. No, we were good friends all through high school, and it was.
What was so good about it?
Well,
did that just like permanently make him your sidekick? So from then on out, he's like, yeah, get him, Chris, get him.
No, he was. I won't say his name only because he's married and has children and has a regular job. In a house
please
in the
save
suburbs.
your plugs for the end.
But we'll use his nickname. His nickname was Tubby.
Oh man,
Thank God you were nice and threw him off a building.
He wasn't even particularly fat. He looked a little bit like Kevin Smith, and that was like one of the
which Kevin Smith?
The fat Kevin Smith.
Return of the Jedi, Kevin Smith, or
but yeah, no, it was the stupid thing that you do when you're 15 years old. You get a hold of a little bit of alcohol, and it's not fun to just drink it like a regular person in your room with your friends. You have to do something like ridiculous with it. So
I'm not doubting. Like I climbed a lot of schools.
Yeah. So we got to the roof of
an
elementary school. He drank too much of aforementioned liquor and was passed out.
Oh,
and so,
I see. You were trying to forcibly make him throw up by throwing him directly onto his spine.
He'd been
thus
throwing.
Inducing.
Throw up, more like throw down off the building.
No, yeah, he had been throwing up pretty consistently the night, but it was we were just like, wow, we were supposed to be home like hours ago. Our moms are going to be angry at us if we don't get this guy home, and he's passed out on the roof of an elementary school. So the only thing to do was to.
I love how there's so many elements of that scenario that are very difficult to explain individually to our moms. Like, 1, we're drunk. 2, Tubby's passed out. 3, we're on top of the roof of an elementary school.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a testament to dumbness.
So you threw him.
Yeah. So
he around?
So we threw, yeah. I told you. Like I said, he's got a family. He's got kids.
Yeah, but how much of him has kids? Is it a neck?
No, he's good. He's just his knee can predict the weather now. That's so it's like we give him a superpower.
Okay. So
did you throw him into bushes? I'm trying to wrap my hands around this whole thing.
No, but my friend, my other friend, who shall also remain nameless. He jumped down to catch him ostensibly, and he sort of like hook armed him like this, like kind of like how you would trust fall catch somebody. And so Tubby's knee landed directly on a piece of concrete, and he came alive in an instant and was like, "My bleeping leg, my leg!"
I want to imagine that when you say your friend jumped down to catch him, this all happened simultaneously. So you're like, "I'm gonna throw him. You jump right now." He just like caught him in midair and just collapsed onto the ground.
Oh, good lord! Yeah.
That's great. So he didn't like break his knee or anything. Just
no,
like a
it was just
scab.
like a severe bruise.
Yeah.
Not
even breaking the skin.
Like yeah. He just had a severe bruise, and
he woke up and he's like, "Let's do that again."
Yeah, he was out of school the next day.
Howard.
Y'all got drunk on a school night?
No. This was a Friday. He was out of school that Monday.
Oh, dang.
One of our friends in high school, the senior year, or no, maybe it was his junior year, summer, the day they got out for school, they jumped off of an elementary school, and he like shattered his wrist and was in a cast the entire summer.
And they made a movie about it.
Yeah.
Called Front Window. Wait, is it front window or rear window?
It's
rear window.
Definitely rear window.
Damn it!
I think front window is like an Urban Dictionary sex move.
I was thinking that you were like doing some sort of subtle joke related to that I didn't get, and so it just was like,
I'm just gonna dumbass, and I totally got my Hitchcock joke.
No, just dumb as bricks. The ultimate prank.
Oh man. Okay, so that's how
Did you ever get on top of schools as a youth? I don't know like what draws kids to do that on elementary schools.
Look, I've said this before on the show, and I'll reiterate it. I tend to not break laws. I'm very scared of them, and I always have been. I used to lie about like doing cool stuff when I was growing up because I was such a lame ass.
Aw.
I'd just be like, yeah, I've totally had vodka before, and like, I hadn't. I think I had my first sip of vodka when I was like 24 or something.
Oh, wow.
You're not missing much.
Yeah, no.
I'm sure as a 24-year-old, you're like, why?
Yeah, I was like, this is from potatoes? Now I hate them even more. No, I
But I sure do love those Russians.
I've been on the top of several buildings as an adult, but growing up, no, never a school. I really am adamant about I don't mess with trespassing at schools. That's a quick way to have to explain yourself out of a nasty situation.
I guess that's why I did it young. Like, as an adult now, I'm like, why would you do that? But, like, as a kid, like, elementary schools are so short.
I mean, yeah,
they're so easy to get on top of.
I think that's the thing, and because the only real allure is just being on top of a roof.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're like, just being down there is where the man lives, and the man can control what I do, but the man doesn't go up on roofs. I've never seen the man go up on roofs unless they got roofing to do.
Well, for me, it's just a beacon to get a closer calling to God, you know?
Yeah. You played for
one church gig. All right, listen, have you ever trespassed? Has you ever gone somewhere that you probably shouldn't have been? Go ahead and give us a call at 713-526-8737. Share your trespass story.
Yeah, tell us how high you've gotten.
Yeah, you don't have to give us your
Vertically,
names.
we mean.
You don't have to give us your names if you're worried about getting caught up in something, but if we recognize your voice, we will call you out.
Yeah, and we do need the exact address of where you climbed, so please just lead with that.
Okay, so that's how you partied in high school. How did your high school partying style end? Do you remember, like, your prom or your senior year?
Well, so I didn't go to my prom. I went to...
What a nerd. I went to my prom because I was a cool kid.
Wait. He said he didn't go to his prom. It sounds like he went to someone else's
there was
prom,
about to
which
be
is
a
arguably way better.
Damn it.
Let's just wait.
When I was a junior in high school, I flew to Arizona and was in some girl's prom.
Freaking loser.
God,
no, you're a loser.
That's so awesome. You went to Megan McCain's prom? That's so awesome. Was that your date?
You know, it could have been. I think she went to, I think it was a pretty rich school. I think they all seemed pretty rich.
What was your date's
people.
name? Was it Megan?
No, it was Dina. Her name was Dina.
You're saying that with a lot of hesitation.
Yeah. Dina Megan McCain. No, she was. Most people don't know her first name's Dina. And it was very, whatever. It was a weird situation.
How did this happen?
Well, she's a friend of mine. One of the friends, the guy who caught the guy who fell off the roof. It was a very small circle of friends.
Yeah.
And we became... she came to visit him one time, and we made out.
Oh, hell yeah.
On top of the elementary school?
On top of Tubby?
No, and then she, like, invited me to prom, like, way later than that, and I was like, I don't know, go to prom. I'd never left Texas before. No, I'd never left Texas at that point. And so, I went to Arizona.
That rules.
And it was pretty awkward, and it was definitely whatever the opposite of cool was at that point
hot?
in time.
Like
hot.
It was
the desert. It was Arizona. It was very hot. But then, like, a weird little, like, sort of after, I guess, like, postscript to that is, like, way later when I'm in my, like, late 20s and I go to Chicago to do improv training because, all the cool kids do improv comedy. She was living
Not to my knowledge.
She was living in Chicago, and
oh, no way.
I put on Facebook, because we're friends on Facebook. Yeah. And I put on Facebook, I was like, anybody live in Chicago can hit a guy up, can stay on your couch for a little while. And so I stayed on her couch for like 3 weeks.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, this was a cool little, like,
you walk in, she's like, right here
I have all this
is the mom I saved, and right here is
oh, Lord. Yeah, she did show me.
Here's a bone from the chicken wings we ate for dinner that night.
Here was the ticket to the U2 concert that we should have gone to.
It was a month later, but you weren't living here, so I had to go alone.
I had to take my ex-boyfriend, and we got back together, and it was the worst decision I'd ever had. And it's your fault because you didn't live in Arizona.
Also Chris, but with an H. I always thought the H was unnecessary. Much like her. No, I'm sure she was great, and I hope she's not listening right now.
I hope she is. We could use the following.
Yeah.
Okay, so you crashed on her couch. Did she go to your improv shows or anything? What are they called? Recitals?
Recitals. No, she did not go to, and I did not invite her.
Wow.
Smart move. No, like a true improviser.
I think she may have actually left town now that I'm remembering it, but I think she left town that day. But I did not invite her because I didn't think that she would want to see it. So
I definitely, I think I got through like 4 levels of improv before I told people I knew that I was like, hey, I've got an improv show coming up. Like,
the only the only time I invited my parents to see my level 1 recital, and that's the only time they've gone to see me do improv in the 9 years I've done it. I have not invited them a single second time.
Really? Not to be like, look how far I've come.
No, I think that I started to kind of, as my sort of performance life, as my life as an actor and a performer and such has evolved, I usually don't invite them to things that I don't think they would enjoy. So like the real...
That's kind of how I've been.
You know, the weird postmodern reinterpretation of the Cassandra myth where I played a gaslighting, psychologically damaging Apollo.
This does not sound like a funny
That doesn't seem like something my parents would want to go to. Instead, I let them go to the 39 Steps whenever I was in that or something like that. You know, like, yeah, they like slapstick comedy. Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
you don't invite your parents to anything?
Not often. I didn't invite him to any Micro Satan shows because I was like, that's not going to be your scene. You don't want to sit on the floor at like Beta Theater,
sweating your ass off.
Yeah, and watch us make like weed jokes. But they surprised me one time at a Ned Kelly show, which I was like, oh, that's like, I think they would enjoy that humor, but I didn't want them to hear me say to Kelly, I want to turn you into a cornucopia of dicks. Had I known they were showing up that night, I probably wouldn't have chosen that line to say. But they saw that and they're like, it was pretty funny. And I was like, okay, well.
Yeah, the most far out thing I think I ever invited, well, after I made this rule, the most far out thing I ever invited them to was this sort of like magical realism, I think she was Chicano. But it was Mexican. It was a Mexican magical realism play called Roosters, and my dad still uses that as the joke rubric for all things. If he liked the show, he was like, "I was even better than Roosters," and if he hated the show,
Dad.
he's like, "That one was just as bad as Roosters was." And they still talk about my sister is just like, "I can't believe you made me do that."
I should invite my parents to an Outside Skin show just to see like what they think.
Yeah.
He's like watching Cody and I just like eating chicken skin and like pulling glue off our bodies. Like, so what do you think? Am I like killing it or what?
Yeah.
They'd probably say yes. That's the infuriating part.
They're very sweet.
Did that,
and they like Cody a lot, so they probably enjoy it.
My mom would just be like, when are you going to peel glue off your skin, Connor?
Your mom loved Outside Skin the one night she saw it.
I feel like she said, I believe her review was, I didn't get it, but people loved it.
Yeah, and we talked to her afterwards. She's like, "You guys are electric."
Yeah, no, my mom and dad would not, or more. My mom was always like, "Well, I thought you were good in it," or they would be like,
"Oh, that's the
like,
best."
That's the like thing. And my dad is just a bit more like, I just was lame or whatever, like that. They're very open minded about telling me that when
watching the Surrealist play, they're like, "Chris, I just think you should have been the one to eat all the rats."
when I made my my comic I Hate You Spider-Man, my dad and his fiance of 5 years, I'll call him out. Again, the spoiler is he doesn't listen to my stuff. All right. So anyway, he shows up to the thing and he proceeds to walk up to my table, say hi to me and my friends, reads my entire comic, and then puts it back down. He's like, all right, I'm going to go check out some other stuff. Like, oh my God, my dad's giving me the whole festival routine of like looking at everything, being like, well, I'm going to go make the rounds.
Honestly, more a part of the scene than we think. The way he performed, very part of the scene.
Yeah, it turns out he knows more than you.
We got a question for the comments. Lindsay said, for Chris, who wants to sex? What is this about, Chris?
Who's Lindsay?
Lindsay, but I never know how to say your last name.
Oh, Lindsay Marie. Oh,
it says who wants to sex Matumbo.
Matumbo. Yeah.
I didn't see the bottom of it.
Well, so what she is referencing is we all remember the great basketball player Dikembe Mutombo.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can't see
I remember his ESPN commercial.
Yeah. So apparently there's this like old wives' tale of when he was in college, and he's pretty amazing. He's a pretty great personality. Like do not come into the house of Mutombo, and shaking the finger every time he blocks somebody and stuff. But apparently he walked into a bar one time when he was in college, and everybody it was one of those like stop, turn, and look. Like everybody in the bar looks at him, and he just goes, "Who wants to sex Mutombo?" And she's only referencing that because I told her that story, and now every time that I run into her, she's like, "Who wants to sex Mutombo?"
That rules, because I've heard a similar story. Brian Posehn had this in his act about one time they were at a bar, and Dennis Rodman walks in and just looks around and said, someone's about to get effed, which is like so much less charming and like
and twice as much accurate.
Yeah. I think Brian Poseidon's like, not us, right? What's the joke? It's like, oh God, please not me.
Yeah. Yeah, he came to, whenever he was playing for the Rockets, I was working tickets. I was working the box office for the Alley Theater, and he came to see a show at the Alley, and it was like a crotch walked up to the, because he's, a basketball player, so he's a gigantic human being, so like a crotch walked up to the window, and I was like...
Yeah, really redefining box office.
Last name? He's like, Mutombo.
You have 2 tickets, like, John... Dikembe, and you're like,
are you John Mutombo? Are you Jesse Mutombo?
Okay, so we were talking about how high school ended, and you totally got to go to prom. You're bragging about it, blah blah blah. So let's move into college. What was your partying style like in college?
Well, I was a theater kid.
First off, I have to assume, did you go to college?
Did you do Eagle style? Or you're a San Marcos boy, right?
Yeah. Texas State University, San Marcos, Texas.
It was the birthplace of LBJ's fan club.
Yeah, indeed. It was Southwest Texas the first year I was there.
They changed their name?
For you OGs. Yeah, it was called Southwest Texas State University for the longest time. SWT, Bobcats, etc. And then, because they wanted to have a bit more of a sort of national appeal, they changed their name to Texas State, I guess, because there's like these weird rules where it's like if you have like 2 directions in the name of your university, you can't like operate at a certain level or something like that. It was a very strange and one of those wonderful bits of bureaucracy that
That sounds like some dumb rule that the Big 12 decided just to kick a good team out.
Exactly. We don't want to play with Southwestern anymore.
Yeah. So it's just one thing Texas State is known for.
Yeah. So it was. So I was there. I did a theater degree, so I would go to a lot of theater parties.
Theater parties are. We've all been to theater parties.
We've kind of talked about genres of parties, and I feel like theater parties are like a genre of their own. Everyone is very open.
They're not just drunk. They're absolutely pissed.
Yeah,
they fall down dramatically.
Oh my, too many libations for this one.
Yeah, there was one time I was that guy. I found a broom and I put a towel over my head and I just walk around going ooga booga 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 booga.
That sounds like a way cooler guy.
To be fair, that was me at theater parties.
Just
what can I put on my head and be an ass about?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I just have my "Don't Tread on Me" hat. If that's the criteria.
Yeah, exactly. So it was it was that, and then there was of course the unisex spin the bottle where it was like you had to kiss wherever the bottle landed or whatever. Like
you had to kiss the bottle every time.
Kiss the bottle every and make out deeply with the bottle.
The bottle wrote all the rules of this game, and I think it's kind of.
We should have a spin the bottle party where we all try to sell the bottle to the news. We're like, how can I spin this? As a group of writers, I think we could really kill it at that kind of party.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Look, the bottle's gone through some trouble in its life, and it's really kind of turned things around. And I think it's been to rehab a few times. And
my way of spinning.
I really think it's going to take this time.
This bottle could start relationships and end relationships all in one spin. It's the perfect bottle. All for the price of 10 cents? Are you joking me?
Damn it. Okay. All right. So that was. Did you ever have like a completely epic theater party that you went to that didn't involve you running around with a broom and a blanket on your head?
Well, there were a bunch of
sounds epic
again,
to me.
They all kind of like run together because they happened every weekend. So it's there are little moments. There's that moment. There was one where somebody poured sugar on the dance floor when Pour Some Sugar on Me was playing, and it was exactly the opposite of what you think it would be. You're like, this is going to be epic, and it was not epic. You're covered in sugar, and sugar is weird and sticky. And
so it sounds like someone got kicked out of the party real fast.
Yeah. And it was like,
so you said you had these parties every week. Did you guys develop any like traditions or anything? Because I definitely had like a very insular party group at UTSA, and we had like our own
It seems to be
going.
It seemed to be that there was one party playlist that would been playing. That would it would seem like every year there was one playlist that was like always going around, and you would always hear like yeah from Usher at a certain amount of time at this certain time. You'd always hear hey ya at a certain period of time. You'd always hear whatever this thing happened at a certain period of time, and most of them would happen. There was like a 2 or 2 year span where they happened at the same house, and it was called the Columbia House because it was on Columbia Street, and it was much like the Columbia House record deal.
Now we're talking about these playlists, and earlier today before the show we were talking about different Dollar Wells nights, and you mentioned the Mink. Do you remember how there was a bartender at the Mink who always worked on Dollar Wells nights? So guaranteed at 8:15 or like 9:15, you would hear like "Goody Two Shoes" by Adam Ant every week.
That's how you knew it was kicking off.
Yeah, it was like okay, and he had the same playlist, not on shuffle, but it just went through the same thing,
the same songs all in a row, and so you would hear Adam Ant. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I definitely was like, man, guys, got to hit that shuffle button at least. But now I'm like, I hear that song, bring back precise memories.
Yeah, very very specific memories. Yeah. The one great Mink story that I have was can we talk about drugs?
If you want to talk about drugs, you just cannot advocate doing them.
Okay,
but no one's gonna deny that they exist, man.
Okay, well, so I. Whatever.
Just deny that they make you feel good.
Look, I did a bad thing one time, kids.
Chris!
Don't ever do it.
Chris!
Don't ever do it.
He's coming clean. Just apologize first.
I went and had dinner with a friend of mine.
And real quick, if you want to chastise Chris, you can call in at 713-526-8737. He did some bad stuff.
And we were having dinner, and I was like, she's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. Sorry, I gotta hit acid in the fridge if you want to do that. And she was like, yeah, what? I've never done that before. And so we did that, and then it didn't work. It didn't work, and so we're like, oh well, that's lame. I guess we should never ever do drugs again.
Should have learned your lesson.
I guess we should never do drugs again. And so I took her home.
This story's getting more and more wholesome as it goes on.
And I was like, you know what? There's like a comedy show happening at the Mink tonight. You know, I've just started taking classes at this improv troupe. So this is like a month into my improv.
Do you remember who was on this comedy show? Was it like an improv show? Or was it stand-up?
No, it was a stand-up show, and the stand-up show didn't have enough people to make an audience, so they canceled it. But I didn't learn that until I got there, and I was meeting my friend Lisa, and I walked through the door of the Mink, and the second I took a step through the threshold, the entire world just went upside down. And I was like, no, I've already decided I'm not going to do this. And I walked directly to my friend Lisa, and I sat down, and she's like, hey, the comedy show's not happening. Because Bubba was like, I have to tell you something right now. And she was like, what? And so then I spent the entire night at the Mink, and it actually happened to be like A Fistful of Soul was the same night or something.
Whoa.
Like that. So
what a great turn of events.
And I basically just sat at the bar smiling the entire night. Just kind of like not really talking much. And then I got the bartender's number.
Nice.
Somehow out of that.
Dude, I honestly, like, a surprise turn of acid kicking in, like, Fistful of Soul and getting someone's number sounds like you did all right.
Yeah, it was great. It was kind of a magical evening.
Did you check in with your friend?
I would highly not recommend doing drugs.
Yeah, never do drugs. Did you check in with your friend who did them as well?
Yeah, it totally kicked in for her while she was taking a bath.
That's kind of ideal.
Yeah, she spent the entire night apparently going crazy at her apartment.
Lindsay said, the last time I went to the Mink, Robert Ellis had long hair.
Oof. Rip.
And then James said, and I agree, when is this conversation going to be about ska? Which Jeremy Grisby told me, not friend of the show.
Not yet.
The Swimmer Department has played on this. We should get the rest of the Swimmer Department on here.
Acquaintances.
All right, they're your band. Book them, buddy.
Never mind. What was I going to say? Oh, about ska. He told me there's a third wave ska documentary out right now. That just came out on Hulu, so I will be forcing you to watch that later.
Well, I'm coming home late, so I think that's a great time for you to watch it.
I'll put it on pause. And then when you get back, I can pick it up.
Oh my God! Ooh,
for those of you who didn't get the joke, please watch that ska documentary and then tune back into this and laugh your freaking butt off.
And for those of you who did get it, if you do want to chastise me, do call in at 713-526-8737.
Please call in and just dunk on Ned for that joke.
Yeah, try your hardest.
Now, before we move into partying as an adult, I feel like we all grow up as adults, obviously, and we kind of cool it on all of our more raucous actions. So before we move into your mature phase, have you ever had a party where a run-in with the cops took place?
Ooh. Oh yeah, for sure. Yes, definitely. When I was in high school, we partied at this. I think it was in high school. It may have been in college, but there were definitely some. Okay, Okay, man, which one of these stories am I going to choose? I'm going to choose.
Just tell them all at once.
There was one in high school where this guy who used to think he could talk his way out of just about anything.
Okay.
Like he opened the door to the cops and he like put his hand on the cop and was like, "Look, guys." And then the cop basically like shoved him into the house and screamed at him and was like, "This party is over. You gotta
Was the cop Boss Nass from Star Wars?
Yeah. And then and I got out of there super quick because I didn't want to have to deal with any of that.
So you ran?
No, I was standing right behind the cop because I was like standing on the patio and they walked up and I was just like, I just stood there and didn't do anything and they like gave me the mean eye, the stink eye, and I was like, and then whenever I saw that happen, I was like, I'm gonna go to my car and drive away, and so I did. And then this one time we were in my dorm room in college, and you aren't allowed, of course, to have beer or liquor of any kind, especially when you're 20 years old in a college dorm room, and our next door neighbor had dumped a whole bunch of it in the outside. It sounded like if you're ever at a bar and somebody's dumping all of the glass bottles into the trash can. It's like it sounded like that outside of my dorm room, and
they dumped it out their window, or
no? It was the like trash
cops
can
are coming in through the window. Bail it out in the hall.
Yeah, it was like a big trash can in the hallway that you could use to throw stuff away if you wanted to, and he dunked like an ocean of beer in there, and I like opened the door real quickly and I looked over at him and he was just like shh, and then shut the door, and then I looked the other way and the RA was coming at me and I just was like backed into my bedroom, and of course they knock on my door and asked me if I knew anything about it. I was like, no, I just heard the sound and I came out, and right about that moment the fire alarm went off, and it turned out there had been a party 2 floors down and a fight broke out and somebody had fallen into the fire alarm. And the same guy who had dumped...
And right when they hit it, they blew up and caught on fire. It was pretty tragic.
So at that point, the guy who was next door to me who had dumped all the beer just walked out of his door and walked in like Spartan, kicked open the fire escape door and just walked down it. And I was like, what's happening? And then when I went outside, there was just like a sea of blue. Like, just like cop... It was like, it must have been a boring night in San Marcos, Texas, because it seemed like every police officer was outside of that dorm room.
Every time cops bust a party in San Marcos, I feel like every cop comes out.
They're bored.
Yeah. San Marcos, when I was going there, it had just passed its prime as the #1 party school in America. In like the mid-90s, it was like apparently just raucous. And then Governor George W. Bush did like a raid and crackdown on like insane, like you're like there. I mean, who knows? Because they're all like old wives' tales. It could have been like I heard like prostitution rings and blah and this and that, and you're like, who the heck knows?
Yeah,
what was actually
prostitution
done.
We just got Frisbee Dan.
Yeah, exactly. What you mean, the old hippie who plays Frisbee in the park? And
it's the only San Marcos reference I know, and I whip it out every time.
Frisbee Dan is a solid San Marcos reference. I wonder if that guy's still alive. I hope he is.
Hey, if you are Frisbee Dan,
yeah,
or if you know Frisbee Dan is alive or not, please call us at 713-526-8737. I see Josh Higgins is commenting. I know you know a little bit about
Josh
Frisbee
Higgins
Dan.
said, what dorm?
Oh,
it was Falls Hall. It was Falls Hall. It was. It's no longer there. The new theater building has taken its place. But I think my cousin who now goes there told me that they renamed another hall Falls Hall, or they built a new Falls Hall.
New Falls Halls.
New Falls
But
Halls.
I was at the
Falls
OG
Hall
one.
and Norm's Dorms.
Yeah, I was at the OG Falls Hall. It was across the street from the theater building, which was surrounded by a moat. and there was a Subway, there was a smoking table, which was you'd go to find your plan. It was like your ledger for the night.
We had so I was in Maple Hall at UNT my freshman year, and that was the smoking place. Like that's where people went to smoke cigarettes, and they called it Cancer Corner. Just this little corner, and that's where I met everyone I knew at that school.
Yeah, we had in the quad at U of H. I would just sit out there and smoke cigarettes and just find people that I either wanted to be friends with or never wanted to talk to again.
Yeah, that was the where I came up with my rule that basically like people who are smoking are usually having the best conversations, or at least know where something is going on.
I never smoked cigarettes, but that's like just where I would always go, because like that's where people are going to hang out. Like,
exactly.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Even to this day, people are like, "Oh man, do you smoke? Do you want to go?" I was like, "No, I don't smoke, but I will walk outside and smoke with you.
Join you.
I guarantee you the conversation will be better."
Oh yeah. Well, I guess at this point we should just move into what it's like to be an adult whenever you're partying.
Yeah, we should.
Oh no,
that's not.
Every week, man. God. All right, listen. You want?
We should just stop doing this at the same place. They're gonna come. Okay, Chris. We have done some bad things as well as you. Maybe drugs, maybe laws. It's not important what we did, but the cops are here.
You did some laws? Oh man.
We did the opposite of some laws. Let's just say that. So if you don't mind being a real cool guy, could you talk to the cops for us?
Sure.
All right, we're gonna head out.
Okay.
Open up.
Who is it?
HPD. Open up.
Okay. Give me a second. Oh God, how does this lock work? Hey.
Well, hello there, sir. Listen, we got a report. As you can see in this hall behind us, there's a lot of hits of acid, and
it's pretty much everywhere. I'm really regretting coming barefoot today.
Oh no.
Things are starting to feel a little weird.
Yeah.
In any case, look, we don't know if this is yours. We are looking for two criminals, Connor and Ned. And
we're pretty sure they're responsible for this acid rug.
Well, I have to tell you guys, I think I don't really know all of my rights, but I figure that like if it's outside of my
oh, thank God, that's our specialty.
Don't worry, we'll let you know what your rights are.
Oh, thank God, I have to trust the police immediately. Every time I see them, I have to trust them. But if it's outside my door, right, it has nothing to do with me, doesn't it?
Well, see, technically this is on the property because it's right outside of it. I mean, you're welcome, Matt. First off, needs to stop moving around, and second of all, it's still part of your property.
Well, again, I must say, like, it's not. I'm here as a guest. I hang out here. I've only ever been here one time.
You're here as a guest?
Yeah,
man. I just had this thought earlier that like we're guests here on this earth.
Oh, John, come on, John.
No, I've just been really thinking about it in the 5 minutes that we've been standing in this hallway,
right?
And it's
whoa, hey, sir, please put those 2 extra eyeballs away.
Oh, I'm sorry, officer.
You have a permit for those? Because I see them now too, and I am freaking out.
His chin keeps getting pointier.
Look, gentlemen, we can all do okay if we just calm down for a minute, okay?
2 hours later.
Now, all I'm just saying is that maybe you're right that we are guests on this earth, and we need to have stewardship over the environment because, the temperatures and then the glaciers and then Greenland's going to go away, and then, you know what I'm saying?
It's just like sometimes I think the greatest crime ever committed is my crime. My crime of trying to stop other people's crime. And really what crimes are just people trying to have a good time.
You're being hard on yourself. You know the biggest crime that's ever been committed is that Iceland is green and Greenland is all icy. We all know this. I don't know why anyone's not shooting guns at it.
It was just it was a marketing ploy, It was a marketing ploy.
Oh my God, marketing is another crime.
Oh no, Martha, my wife. Oh, how long have we been sitting here? I've been off duty for. Oh crud, we gotta go. Hey. It was so nice to meet you.
Hey.
We should get together. We should do that drum thing we did earlier again.
Hey, you know what? I would be honored to do that with you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, here are our cards.
Okay.
Our number is 911. Just call and ask for us.
And here's my badge. You can just call the number on that.
Okay.
All right. We're out of here, man. See ya. Oh my God, that took forever.
Dude, we gotta wrap the show up pretty soon.
Dude, sorry,
Where did all this paper come from?
Look, it's not important. All you just need to know is that I think lives were changed this night.
Well, all right.
Yeah, not from us. I'll
All
tell you
lives
that.
change. I'll tell you that much, man. All right, so let's go into the adulthood aspect now that we're back.
I do want to talk about something before it gets too late. I want to talk about the very first time I ever saw you just like on stage. I'd probably seen you do improv before that, but a very early memory of Cris Skelton is going into a punk show. And you and Odo were on stage at Mango's next door. Can you describe that band for me real quick?
Me and my roommate at the time, this guy Chris Odo, so I had done a play about, I guess this theme is just acid now. It was a play about tripping acid in the 80s. It was written by this local playwright, Lisa Walker. It was called Moose Hunt. Or When the Day Met the Night. And so part of what her experience was whenever she was a kid doing acid in the 80s was they would do a bunch of whippets as well. And as a consequence,
I don't know what that is.
We were going to get fake, it's nitrous oxide. We were going to get a bunch of fake whippets or whatever and put them around. But it turned out that the most cost-effective way was just to get a bunch of real whippets and make sure that they were all done, and so as a consequence, I had a bunch of whippets around and was just doing whippets or something like that.
The next 30 seconds are gonna be dumb.
And so Chris, Odo, and I, we were doing a lot of comedy at the time, and he was like, I have an idea for a joke band. We're going to call it Party Balloon, and they're like basically a psychedelic band, but their psychedelic drug of choice is whippets. And so they were like, it was like the Moody Blues for whippets, or like
all the songs were super short.
All the songs were 15 seconds long.
Yeah.
And they were just ridiculous titles that were like, this song's called My Brain Thinks He's Drowning. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he would have like a bunch of delays and loops on his bass and he would just hit one chord and it would be like and then I would just bang the drums as like incoherently as possible.
Dude, it was very much I think Caddy Wampus was playing that night or something.
So
because Zach and I walked to go see that show, and I walked in, I was like, I saw you guys setting up. I was like, oh, I think I know that guy. I think he does comedy here. And you guys started playing. I was like, what the hell is going on?
So what happened that night was Odo had booked that show because the headliners were a band from his high school named Love Sponge.
They wanted party punk.
Yeah, they wanted to do a reunion show because they're all like old and have kids and stuff, and they wanted to be like relive their glory days for a second. And so he booked a bunch of bands that would be, I guess comparable to them. And so he booked us, Party Balloon. He booked this band, I think Caddy Wampus wrote it, but the one I always remember is this band called Space Rhino. Okay. And they were like prog rock.
Oh, no, that's why I was there. I went to go see Space Rhino because my friend played drums at the time.
Yeah, so they were like prog rock, and they had like this whole concept to them, but they weren't very particularly good at explaining what the concept was. So like in between every song, like, okay, so like the story with this is like, so like there was a rhino in space, and like there was this space rhino, and he was this cosmic rhino, and he only brought joy to the world, and he got in an epic battle, and he was destroyed. But the five elements of his soul, five parts of his soul, they flew down to Earth, and they landed inside of and that's the us in the band. We each have a piece of the soul of the space rhino.
Anyways, the song's called Bong Tang.
And so they would play the song, and then they would be like, okay, so then when the space rhino it was like somebody was summing up the Wikipedia article before every song, and then they would.
I think that was their very first show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was very entertaining because that's the only band I remember from that night.
No, they made them, and they're still together. Believe it or not, yeah, I saw they were looking for a bass player recently.
One day we're gonna have to have Jack Killen, friend of the show, come back on the show because he was in a band called Strawberry River into Infinity, or Strawberry River meets Infinity.
Know this.
Okay, so what that was, I'm gonna give you a rundown of this band because
please, and we're wrapping up soon.
I know, I'll make it quick.
Yeah.
So it's basically 3 people jamming, and then Jack coming out with the Book of Rama and reading from it, and then going backstage, coming out and
like the Book of Rama, like the Hindu Book of Rama.
Oh yeah. It was just like
heard of it.
Yeah, it was just, hey, we're gonna jam for an hour and Jack just be weird. And at one point he comes out in a Native American headdress. I'll say it. He wore it, and he starts doing all these weird dances. He comes out with a guitar and doesn't just break it; he has sex with it. Like, it's this really bizarre thing. And then a week later, he's like, "All right, when's our next show, guys?" And it said, "Hey, Jack, you're out of the band." So they wanted to be all about the music moving forward.
Finally.
We've
Finally, some band in this town makes it about the music.
we've decided we're going to be.
Oh, this was Cypress, Texas. This wasn't Houston.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
All right. Do you have any lasting notes or stories before we move into our last segment?
Life is what you make it, and every day is a new adventure. I don't know.
Boy, I wish we didn't give you that extra time there.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and go into our last segment here. Hang tight. I want a new plug. Tell me what's going on. Tell me all the stuff you're doing after I sing this song. All right, Chris, what do you got to plug?
What do I got to plug? Well, every Thursday night at the Secret Group in East Downtown, I perform with a group called Futile Society. That's futile, like resistance is futile, not futile like feudalism. It's at 8 o'clock p.m., and we do that all the time. And also, I co-produce a photography show called Flats, and our next one is June 1st. So if you were to follow us all on the Facebooks and stuff, you would learn about all those things.
Yeah, I was going to say, Flats is always in a different location, which is what makes it so unique.
Yeah, we go into people's homes, we take all of their stuff off the walls, move their furniture out of the way, and hang art, and turn their house into a little gallery for the night.
That's so cool.
It's all photography-based, Houston-based photographers.
What's the social media to follow that on?
It's just at Flats Presents on Facebooks and on Instagramsies, and then Feudal Society is Feudal Society on all those things as well.
Nice.
All right, Ned, what about you?
This Saturday I'm playing a private party with swimwear department. So if you see me that day, I could probably take you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to go.
And then Thursday nights, there's a show called Futile Society at Secret Group.
Wait, are you in that show too?
Oh, no way. And then I'm sure there's other stuff coming up, but you should take the floor.
All right. Next Tuesday, I'm going to be performing in Neo Benchy.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing that too.
Oh, how fun.
That's why I asked you.
Oh, okay. Look, Ned and I are both going to be performing in Neo Benchy with different people. You'll be performing with Jack Killen, friend of the show, and I'll be performing with Rahul Rao, friend of the show. Very excited for that. On May 18th, I finally had to line up all set. We are going to have You Now Have the Floor. I almost forgot the name there. You Now Have the Floor, a comedic town hall show that will be on May 18th at 8 p.m. at the Secret Group in the Box. So please, please, please come on out there.
He's got at least one very good guest booked. I'm excited to see what this guy comes up with. Ooh. Yeah, he's got some wacky ideas. I love it. Yeah.
Look, please come out to that show. This is the first time I've ever done like a solo show without a group of like more people. I don't know what to expect. It's gonna be nuts. Oh, and tomorrow I have a new article dropping in Byline Houston called "In My Day," and I hope you like it.
What was your other article you had on there?
It was called "Ask a White Dude." Finally, a white man's perspective,
and it's exactly
voice.
What it sounds like. No, go check it out. It's a very funny article, and I'm super stoked to see your writing on there.
And I will go ahead and just say I also am going to start writing for Byline Houston. So you aren't going to be.
What are you writing?
It's going to be
the word byline,
sort of comedic related. Yeah, I'm going to write the word byline over and over and over. It's going to be like sort of Borowitz report-y. So, satire-y kind of things. Like topical Houston satire.
I love it. Hey, someone should do something about that "Be Someone" sign. I don't know. It just seems ripe.
All right. I tell you, it's 220 new Firehouse subs to open it.
All right. On that note, we're out of here. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.